Clients want the catharsis of being exhausted and drenched after training. I've seen it myself dozens and dozens and dozens of times. They feel differently when you're that person that can push them to the limits and then tell them to go off really politely. They love that shit. They want to suffer in the gym. Again, low-key suffer. They're not going to admit to it, but that's what they really want. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength, and I'm here to talk to you about the biggest mistakes I see being made by trainers training their personal training clients. There are many mistakes made by everyone doing everything, and that's okay. It's just a part of life. This is not to vilify personal trainers at all. I've for a long time been a personal trainer. I've taught personal trainers how to do personal training stuff in the collegiate environment, and so on and so forth. But some of these mistakes are so prevalent in so many people, and damn it, they make it so that results for the clients aren't as good, that we got to say something about them. I have to rant about it. If you're a personal trainer or your friends are trainers, send them this video. And a lot of you guys that are personal trainers, you're going to be going through this video and rolling your eyes because you'll be like, yep, seen that one, I've seen that one, and that one dumbass trainer at my gym does this one all the damn time. Let's take a look at some of these common mistakes. Let's describe why they're mistakes and give better alternatives for how to do training in such a way that gives your clients better outcome. And as a personal trainer, it's not like crazy hard or any harder than the mistakes you're making now. It's just different and better. Let's take a look. First mistake is when personal trainers don't ramp up their training. What does that mean? We know that hard training is critical for your best gains, fact, but beginners are so unused to training that what may be a tough workout for you is cataclysmic for them and might actually cause a little bit of muscle loss, risk rhabdomyolysis, or at the very least, not gain them the optimal gains for how much suffering they're experiencing. They might get sore for a week and a half. They might just quit and never come see you again. So when you get a new client, start off with lower loads and lower set numbers, something that works with them on technique and fluidity of movement. Tough, but not crazy tough for at least the first week or two. And as they get into better and better shape, as they're tolerating more work, they're getting less sore, they're getting less tired, they can push harder into failure, you give them more work and more effort to do. That's the entire idea of ramping. You don't start here and go there. You start at the bottom and work your way up slowly as your clients adapt. If every time they come see you, if they see you regularly, they're recovered from the last workout, they're no longer sore, and they're feeling really strong, you're doing a great job. If they never even got a challenge from that last workout, you got to train them harder and have them do more stuff. If they haven't recovered yet from last workout and it's time to do this one, you're doing too much and it's time to back up. You're ramping too quickly. You need to slow down your level of escalation. Next, big mistake is not training the clients hard. I know this still happens, believe it or not. This is not meant to offend. It's just a statistical reality. Far more people that hire personal trainers than go to the gym themselves without one have trouble pushing themselves hard in the gym. There are many reasons to hire a trainer. One is that someone takes over your fitness. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Another is someone's there to make sure you have technical corrections and help you do the right program. Another thing is like to have someone make sure that like you show up to the gym and bothers you if you don't. But a big one is literally like someone to push you really hard because the shit hurts and you're not trying to push yourself hard. A lot of people that hire personal trainers, they hire them tacitly or explicitly with the expectation that they will be pushed, period. But a lot of times they don't get pushed. And going through the motions, leaving 5 or more reps in the tank does help with some muscle growth and some health, especially in beginners, but it leaves oodles of progress on the table. And that's no good. As personal trainers, we want to deliver the best possible services to our clients. And then later when you see them in the parking lot, you rob them for their wallet because I only know you in the gym, motherfucker. But in the gym, I'm going to give you the best goddamn service I can, and not pushing you hard enough is on me as the trainer. Does that mean you have to scream at your clients and throw things from day one? Absolutely not. You start out real easy. It starts real easy. But then next week, you put 2.5 or 5 pounds more on the bar. Remember, you're the trainer. You're fully in charge of what to put on the bar. And you track their reps. Maybe you use the RP Hypertrophy app to track their reps and sets. And the RP Hypertrophy app will actually tell you, hey, do more reps here or add more weight here. Maybe ask them to do another rep. They did 100 pounds for a set of 10 last week. This week, they do 102.5 for 10 or 105 for 10, or they do 100 for 11. It's you who's giving them those goals. All you do is give them the goals. If you keep doing that, they either will get infinitely strong forever. Congratulations. Hopefully your client's cool and doesn't destroy us all. Your client is Homelander from The Boys. Oops. Or they'll eventually hit a part where they have to go ultra hard to meet their goals. And then congratulations, you're training hard. And eventually they're going to not be able to meet their goals. They're not going to be able to PR. You deload them, you give them active rest and all that good stuff. But a deload is a reward for trying your hardest for long enough. Now, if you've been hard for longer than 4 hours, the medical people recommend going to the hospital and getting it drained. Scott, you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Nope.
What's your PR? 4 seconds?
Yeah. But then the phone rings and then go on, any distraction.
Who's calling you on a rotary dialed telephone? You're like, well, actually, Mike, I didn't want to talk about this, but got a real specific fantasy. It's the only way you get off. I'm like, oh, go on. What is it? Like, you remember Mad Men, that show, like 60s advertisers? Like, like I needed a full set recreation. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen for me. That'd be hot though, wouldn't it? See? Thought him. Fucking nailed him. That's it. Motherfucker, 60s ass, loving ass motherfucker. In any case, you just present a little bit more of a challenge each time. And what I like to do is I don't even get really harsh and negative with my clients. I'm like, come on, Bill, if you don't do 10 reps, you're a fucking pussy. Nah. You'd be like, hey, Bill, it's 10 reps today. He's like, it's more weight than last time. I'm like, that's right, Bill. We're here to progress. And I think you can do it. What do you say? You can be that ginger and that gentle. You can be a little harsh. Anything in between is totally cool. As you get closer to failure, especially in a given set, you can ramp up your verbal intensity. Like, hey, Bill, I think you got this. On their way to 12 reps, on the 8th, they start to breathe heavy and they look at you and you go, come on, Bill, let's go. That wakes his ass up enough to do 3 or 4 more reps and then he's got it. You can ramp your verbal intensity as needed, as is appropriate in your relationship so far with your client, when needed. That means you don't yell at them in day 1, but day 89 of the program, you're in their face a little bit and they love it because guys, that's why they pay you. You're there as a cheerleader and as a sports scientist at the same time. Now, it really helps if they agree with you beforehand, before each week / each workout, that we're here to do the shit. So what I like to do when I'm personal training folks is be like, hey, all right, Nancy, how you feeling? She's like, good. Just drop the kids off and I'm ready to go. Like, all right, Nancy, you ready for just global warfare against your body? Like the whole world fighting your quads today? And she's like, yes. Okay, great. Let's get in there. Let's get positive. Let's scream and yell a little bit. Let's work hard. Great. Because if you get that consent early that we're doing crazy shit, hey, we're doing crazy shit, it's no problem. But if your clients are like, oh, like we're going to have a good workout, have a good Friday, fuck that. You better tell them, hey, are you ready to go hard? And if they say no, dope. You just chat with them and have a nice babysitting job. But usually they're going to say yeah. And because they said yeah, it makes them more ready and it gives them, well, it gives you sort of implicit permission to like, give them 1-4. Tell them what's what. Next problem, huge problem. This thing grinds my gears like crazy. Too many isolation movements in the context of regular personal training population. Let's take a look at what that population is like. Most clients have very limited time. They don't train with you but 2 or 3 times a week in most cases. If you have a client that comes 4 or 5 times a week, holy shit, that is very, very unusual. And these clients are not professional bodybuilders or powerlifters. They need the general adaptations of exercise as well as the specific ones. Yes, they need bigger rear delts, sort of, but they just need stronger bones and more overall muscle mass and to be healthier. So why the fuck would you program 1-arm rear delt cable extensions, cable cross-body laterals to target the rear delts, which are in most people the size of 2 of your fingers, or program in even leg extensions for most general clients, single arm overhead. Oh, that looks different. Single arm overhead tricep dumbbell extension. Why are those superior? They target really small muscle masses but take as long as any other set does, when you could instead be doing compound moves like rows and squats and presses and hitting 2 or 3 or 4 muscles hard at the same time, growing a ton of muscle tissue, getting the body metabolically more active, etc. Things that isolations do not allow you to do effectively. Isolations are to target one specific part of one specific muscle. If you're a competitive bodybuilder or you're a physique person who's really invested, trains 5 or 6 days a week, and you really need your rear delts to cap off, those are perfect exercises for you. But almost none of your clients are in that position. Best health and appearance changes for your clients will come from stimulating large muscle masses. If you look at a housewife, you do a lot of rear delt work with her, nobody's even gonna notice. But if you build her some sturdy fucking legs and some fucking bigger overall shoulders and a thicker back, she's going to lose some weight. She's going to turn into like super housewife and be like, holy shit, how the hell did you do that? Like working on the fucking core basics, hitting large muscle masses, not doing some kind of isolation bullshit, forgetting the rest of the body exists, right? It's kind of like let's see, you have to make cupcakes and you have 90 minutes to do it. And you spend like 87 minutes just like the frosting on one of the cupcakes. Someone's like, hello, what about the other 7 cupcakes? You're like, oh shit. Guess they're not getting frosting. You suck. You lose the competition for cupcake making, motherfucker. At that point, you just start crying and eating as many of your cupcakes and the other competitors as you can before they kick you out. Not speaking from several times of personal experience. Scott, should we get me on one of those cooking shows with the chefs, like the junior chefs, try to show off and get that big Netflix contract?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in a sense, I'm overqualified for this shit.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, actually.
I'm like, yes, I'm Dr. Mike. They're like, okay, and your degree is in culinary arts? I'm like, yeah, something like that. Involves molecules, I guess.
Microwave specialists.
Aren't I? The microwave is my tool of the trade. In any case, that's what you're doing when you're doing fucking one-arm bicep curls with your 65-year-old female client. You're putting icing on one fucking cupcake where you could have been doing compound presses and rows and pulling movements and pushing movements and just getting fucking unreal cupcakes made and across the finish line. Kids love them. There's a little poison in there, whatever. Not a big deal. It's for your husband. Over the years, it's an investment. It's really fucked up when that happens. Scott, do you have good reason to believe that your significant other hasn't been poisoning you slowly?
No, I mean, she's into plants and shit, so it's probably been happening.
100%. Plant poisons, you can't even detect them and they kill you so goddamn. Poison ivy out here. For most of your training that you do with regular people in the gym, you should be choosing compound, multi-joint, multi-muscle at the same time exercises like close grip pulling. Underhand rows train the biceps and the rear delts and the back. Close grip pushing trains the front delts, the triceps, and the chest. Upright rowing trains a whole bunch of muscles in your arm and shoulder. Overhead pressing trains a whole bunch of muscles in your arm and shoulder, etc. Isolations are insanely overvalued, specifically for the kind of clients that you usually have personal training. Some isolation work is totally cool if there is a good need for it, and there's not a good argument against doing something more compound that does a better job for you. Next problem. This is another huge grind my gears problem. This, to be completely honest, these are all ones that grind my gears. Too much rest time between sets for your clients. Fact, most of your clients are not strong enough to need 3 minutes of recovery between sets. If you have a fucking formula car that does hundreds of laps around the track, it is going hundreds of miles an hour, taking 9G turns, whatever crazy shit happens on a racetrack. It takes a kind of damage that requires a while to deal with. So after the race, you got to take that car and pull it apart and put it back together, replace a bunch of components. It's a serious task. It might take a week or so. If you just drive 500 miles from Indianapolis to somewhere better, which is to say anywhere other than Indianapolis, don't go to Gary, Indiana, but other than that, anywhere else, 500 miles away, and you get there, you don't like tell your girl you just got there, like, hey, baby, I'm ready to spend a weekend with you. It's going to be fun. Listen, let me take my car to the shop. She's like, why? Did it break? Like, just 500 miles. I got to take it in to rotate the tires and everything. She's like, did you IndyCar your way over here? Like, oh, just drove like 65 miles an hour per Indiana state speed limits, I might add. And it's going to be like total nonsense because you just don't put in that much damage to your car that you need in every 500 mile checkup. That's fucking insane. If it's a race car, it's totally true. So if you have someone who's an elite level powerlifter and they just squatted 550 pounds for a set of 8, yeah, they're going to need 5 minutes between that and the next set to do anything worthwhile. But if you have Karen, the administrative assistant who weighs 134 pounds, this is her like 6th workout ever for legs. She does a set of 10 on the squat. She racks the bar. She's like, ooh, that was tough. Okay, I feel pretty good. That was 15 seconds. She's like, yeah. Do I sit down? Do I drink water? You're like, oh my God, you are completely recovered after that time because your muscles are so small and you're not lifting a lot of weight. That's the reality. Most clients do not need 3 minutes of rest between sets. They just don't. A lot of times they need much, much less. And you say, okay, what if we do 2 little rest and it cuts off the reps at the end of their sets? I could have done 10, but I did 8 because I wasn't sufficiently recovered. Don't worry about it. It's a more time efficient to add more sets. Here's an example. If you take 3 minutes between each set and you do 4 sets total, that's 9 minutes of rest you did between sets. Let's say you have a sum total of, let's say 40 reps that you did. 4 sets of 10. Let's say now that you are resting a minute between sets, not 3 anymore. So instead of resting 9 minutes total, you are resting 3 minutes total. You saved 6 minutes of rest. You do all those sets back to back, but you only get to 35 reps total because you lost some reps here and there. You weren't recovered enough. How long is it going to take you to do an extra 5 reps to get the same work effort and thus the same hypertrophy, roughly speaking, for that session? Is it going to take 6 minutes? What kind of 5 reps are these? It's at worst going to take another whole minute of rest. Okay, so now we're down to 5 and the 30 seconds that it takes you to do the next 5 reps. 4 minutes and 30 seconds we just saved. And that's just one exercise example of the shit. You have a whole workout, you can save oodles of time by not resting for a long time. And if it's under volume, it's too little work, too little total reps done over the workout, just add another set in there. Short rest times and more sets is a quicker, more efficient way to get to volume than using really long rests that are needlessly long. Here's another thing. Your clients have very limited time weekly anyway. Again, 2 to 3 sessions per week is incredible if you can get regular clients to show up all that. And if you're wasting, I don't know, half their workout with chit chat between sets, which a lot of clients lowercase L or lowercase W want, but they don't need it, capital N for the need, because they're not paying you to chat with you. They like chatting with you. And if they can be low-key convinced that chatting with you and working out a little bit takes care of their health and wellness thing, they can bitch about how much you cost to their girlfriends at brunch later that week, no problem. But the real best way you deliver high-quality services to your clients is you give them what they need, which is a high degree of stimulus. And if they only see you twice a week, girl, if I only see you twice a week for personal training, every half hour that I see you, an hour total per week, every half hour, twice a week that I see you is going to be like you get dropped into a fucking volcano and fall in the entire time. That's the intensity we're going at. That's how little time I got to fucking chit chat with you. You're either going to be doing one of 3 things: lifting weights, breathing insanely heavily, or throwing up. It's one of the 3. If you're not throwing up anymore, you're going to do another set. If you're not breathing so heavily that you think you're going to die, you're doing another set. And if it's neither one of those, guess what you're doing? You're doing another set. It's that straightforward. I'm not ripping you off. You're in here not so many times anyway. And if we get you in here, it's fucking wartime. Plain and simple. We got time for chit chat later. And they're like, okay, so the session's done. You're like, you said you had time for chit chat later. You're like, oh yeah, so I got meetings and boss and meetings. You know how it is. Blah, blah, blah. See you never. But JK, see you on Tuesday next week. It's in the schedule. She's like, yep, you're right. It totally is. Peace, homie. And when they see you, it's fucking wartime. Here's another benefit. Your clients, usually because they're regular people, guys. They're regular fucking people. They don't have a dedicated time of the week many times where they do cardio and weights like you do. You might even have a session for mobility and flexibility. They for sure don't fucking have that. They have 2 or 3 workouts, period, per week that they do with you. They're lawyers, they're doctors, they got kids, they got families, they got all kinds of shit going on. Some of them could even be in the Illuminati and you would have never known. Some of them could be even lizard people. Like, damn, this guy's doing a lot of reps. There's like lizard muscle fibers. You can't tell, but you know they're only training, period. And I mean training, any kind of physical training, 2 or 3 times a week with you, maybe 4 if you're lucky. So are you doing lifting, or are you doing cardio, or are you doing flexibility and mobility? The answer is all 3. It's your job to do all 3. How the fuck do we do all 3? Lifting, we got, because this lifting is what we do. What about mobility, flexibility? Full range of motion lifting with deep pause at the bottom? Takes care of that as well. All right, awesome. Shorter rest times. And now you've really majorly ticked that cardio box. It takes me an hour and a half to do a workout. When I rest 4 minutes between sets, I get a great muscle and strength workout, but I'm not really doing any kind of cardio because I never really breathe heavy and 5 seconds after each set, maybe. But if I do really intense short rest breaks, and I'll tell you guys in a little bit how to do this best, I'm breathing heavy for 35 minutes straight. And you know what? That by ACSM guidelines is fucking cardio. And that's really, really good stuff. So you hit 2 birds with 1 stone. This is really awesome stuff. Convinced yet? I have another reason for you. Psychologically, your clients often want 2 things. One is for the experience of training to be difficult for them. It's almost cathartic for them. And they have a lot of guilt about eating shit on the weekends, and they want to do like the religious exchange where they sin eat by training really hard, and they literally eat by eating pizza later on the weekends. And for them, that's some kind of emotional equanimity turns out to be the case for that. That's not your fucking problem. That's just how it works. Clients want to suffer. They kind of pay penance during training. So If you have long rest breaks, they lift weights. It's hard and heavy, but not terribly difficult. If you have short rest breaks, holy shit, they know they're suffering. Here's the thing. They like that sort of thing. They want that sort of thing. You got to lean into that. Another thing, they want to leave the gym exhausted and drenched. Like if you are in a building in New York and you leave your personal training studio as a client, and that hot ass bitch that usually rides the elevator down, you know what I'm saying? You half the time you're in the same elevator with her. It's kind of strange. She's riding down and she turns to you and she's like, "What do you live here in the building?" And you're like, "Nope, it's just personal trainer, just trains me in the gym." She's like, "Oh yeah, 6th floor. It's a good place." Like, yeah. She looks you up and down. You're like completely dry shirt. Like, headband is dry. Everything looks like it came out of a catalog. She's like, "Did you, he wasn't here today or what?" Like, "No, I just did a fucking hard workout. What, I just suffered in there, girl. What the hell are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh yeah, word up. Maybe next time you can sweat." And she walks out of the elevator. You're like, "Go home and touch myself tonight." Because hard training is what a lot of clients actually want. You want that conversation to go differently. She gets to the elevator with you, and not only are you completely drenched with sweat, you can't stand, you've collapsed in the elevator, and you're covered with your own blood. She's like, "Oh my God, can I help you?" You're like, "Yes, a date would be great." She's like, "Yes, anything to keep you alive. Here's my number." And she runs off. Now we're fucking talking. But on a serious note, clients want the catharsis of being exhausted and drenched after training. I've seen it myself dozens and dozens and dozens of times. They feel differently when you're that person that can push them to their fucking limits and then tell them to go fuck off really politely. They love that shit. They want to suffer in the gym. Again, low-key suffer. They're not going to admit to it, but that's what they really want. And they want to leave drenched. And guess what short rest times do? They tick both of those boxes. Awesome, awesome stuff. And there's a way to do it that covers a ton of bases. You choose a series of exercises and you pair them together. One exercise cannot have many or ideally any muscles in common with the other exercise. You do this first exercise, you do essentially no rest, maybe 10 seconds of rest. You do the second exercise, remember no interfering muscles, it's only systemic and cardiovascular fatigue that's accumulating, but the muscles are fresh each time, really great, work for both. Rest another 10 to 30 seconds, go back to that first exercise, do another set, second exercise, do a set. Compounds are usually best for this. You can use isolations, compounds are best. Unrelated muscle group, antagonistic supersets is what these things are basically called. So the effect of this, if you string a few of these together, you're going to get unreal whole body workout for the muscles and a psychotic cardio and mental workout as well. Amazing. Here's an example of a workout like this. You pair close grip bench to underhand pull down. You do as many close grips as you can, or your client, or as many as whatever 2 RIR. Rack, you bring them over to the pull down. They do as many pull downs as they can with good technique or 2 reps in reserve or whatever. They rack that. They get a quick drink, 20 seconds, quick little sip of the bottle, back to close grip bench. While you're doing underhand pull downs, the muscles involved in close grip benching, they're resting. And while you're doing close grip bench, the muscles involved in underhand pulling rest. So it's rest while the other muscles are being taxed, rest while being taxed, rest while being taxed, back and forth. Crazy cardiosystemic component, but all the muscles get to do justice. So an example of a good pairing, this is a whole workout, by the way. 6 total exercises. Close grip bench to underhand pull down, 5 sets of each, 10 sets total. Minimum rest time between each. Squat paired with upright row. Strange combination, but I guess nothing in there interferes. And then a barbell row paired with a seated shoulder press. You have just trained your client's entire body and crazy cardio demand with 30 sets total for that workout. And you think 30 sets, holy shit, that's going to take a long time. With normal rest breaks, it does. But with short rest breaks, it doesn't take much time at all. This is realistically a workout you can have your clients do if you're a trainer. It takes 30 to 45 minutes, and it will deliver one hell of a punch and get them unreal results. And they're going to be like, dude, that's about the hardest shit I've ever done in my life. Good. It'll put hair on your chest. And the client's like, I'm female. Like, yeah, it's 2024. And she's like, yo, respect. I'm getting that hair going. If you guys are aware of more mistakes that piss you off that personal trainers have seen, or if you think something is a mistake but you're not quite sure, get in the comments and talk about it, and maybe I'll make another video covering other personal training mistakes that you thought you couldn't make the video collab you didn't deserve to have, but you got it. See you guys next time.